But joining us to the program, and we're so happy to have her today, Miss Jennoa Graham.
You know, she's laughing.
How we doing today, Miss Doctor?
But Dr. Graham, tell him never call you Miss Jennoa Graham again. It's Doctor.
I was trying to put the feminine out there for. I said Miss Doctor.
It's Doctor.
That's respect in Alabama. What you talking about?
Doing good.
We're doing good. How about you?
Oh, thank you for having me. You guys are hilarious. It's always a good time. So the main headaches in the larger corporations and the multinational corporations is when they're implementing new financial systems in particular. Some of the smaller divisions and the smaller departments kind of get left behind in the shuffle.
Okay.
So they're focused on, it's almost like an 80-20 rule. They focus on 80% of the business and then work on the other piece later, which that could be very, very costly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that. And then the other piece of it is that they don't completely implement the system. So you buy a new system so that it replaces the older system,
mm-hmm.
but they end up keeping both systems and supporting both systems. So that doesn't work either.
I've seen that a lot. How do you work with the different buckets of budget? Because each department will have its bucket of budget, right? And they all fighting for their budgets and their initiatives. How do you work with navigating through, hey, this is what we have for this? And, you know, a lot of times they like to cross budgets. Like they'll want something and you need to call this person over here and get it out of their bucket because we're not going to spend on it. How do you work with corporations like that? Because it's different with an entrepreneur or small business where it's all out of one bucket. But when you're dealing with multiple buckets, they fight like brother and sister.
They do. And in those cases, I work directly with the decision makers who are in charge of those budgets.
Mm-hmm.
And I get them together for a stakeholders meeting. And then it's all about negotiation and compromise. So you talk about the main things according to the organizational vision,
mm-hmm.
and then you prioritize what needs to happen based on those parameters.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just start negotiating and talking it out. Okay, what's more important? Who's this going to impact? How long is it going to take? How much is it going to cost? And then you just start shifting the money as it needs to go. And
Okay.
if you have to borrow from another department, then do that.
We need to talk about shifting our budget.
Yeah, I need to stop paying you and put the money in my pocket. But you know, a lot of us out here, you know, we got big dreams and you know, we got big aspirations. And a lot of people, they look at the giants like Home Depot and McDonald's, you know, and a lot of these large corporations that's been around for almost 100 years. You know, how do you start to build a corporation like that, or how do you start to become something like that?
One customer at a time. So the key is delegation. So if you're trying to build a company that crosses multiple states, multiple divisions,
mm-hmm.
you really have to put yourself around wise counsel. And you also have to put yourself around good people who have the heart of the goal that you're trying to meet and get them to work with you. And then those people eventually either become your board, your cohort, or your employees. And then that's how you grow. And then once you get to a certain point, you have a team dedicated, you know, your sales team, your product development team, whatever that case is, you start organically growing it, focusing on getting money and business into the business, but then also getting the support team foundationally there to have the processes to sustain it. Because there's no sense in getting $1 million contract and you can't fill it. That makes no sense.
Right. You listen to the #1 rated business show right here on the Real 1100 AM. iHeartRadio. Shout out to Kayla Key, Dash, John, Raymond joining us right there on social media. Thank y'all so much for joining the program right here on the #1 rated business show. We'll be back after this.
Put some money on my GoFundMe, Kay. The whole time showing out.
And we are back right here on the #1 rated business show. Real 1100 AM, iHeartRadio, checking in all over the world. It's the Rockstar KC.
And Mr. Marketology. And why you dance all the time? Every time.
You gotta have some energy, Jeff.
Bounce.
You gotta have some energy, man. Try it one time, Jeff. Move one good time.
I am a grown.
Give me some music. Let Jeff move. Get Jeff a little movement music. There you go. Get it in, bro. How that make you feel? How they make you feel?
Hey, I'm a grown ass man.
Make you feel good on the Tuesday, don't it?
Man.
Dr. Graham, it's so good to have you back. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. You got to turn up sometime, okay?
You gonna
we
mess
talked
around.
about that yesterday.
You gonna mess
it
around.
is important.
You gonna slip a disc.
I'm just saying it is important. We talked about that with author Ethan King. He said entertainment was a part of the simple acronym.
Yep, it was.
The turn up
you
is important.
Slip a disc though. Throw a hip.
Dr. Graham, what do you do to turn up? Let's see. What do you do to turn up, Dr. Graham?
I'm a church girl. I'm a born again believer, so I'm in church anytime I'm hanging with my church people. I'm good. Heaven's Harvest Ministry, shout out.
We can turn up with the Lord if we need to.
Carry on, doctor. Tell us about risk mitigation.
Why you gonna try to act like I don't know about no risk mitigation? Bro, I've been in corporate.
He's up here venting.
I was in corporate, okay?
Just because
I was so happy to get out of corporate.
Just because you was answering the phone on a call center does not make you corporate.
If it was in a corporate building, it counts. Now, Dr. Graham.
So risk mitigation is just like it sounds. You're counting up the cost to avoid something. So whether you have to take the loss or you can avoid it altogether, there's plans that you can put in place to help lessen the cost and lessen the impact. And it's very important with large corporations. Cars now are going towards electric. Mm-hmm. So now we know that global warming and other things are destroying our world. Mm-hmm. And so we are now actively, collectively, as a world, trying to do small things to lessen the damage. Mm-hmm. And so that analysis is called risk mitigation. Again, saving money on cups. Somebody had to run those numbers, see all the sales associated with those cups, how many cups are going out the door, what's the material made out of, can we get a cheaper material that gives us the same quality and the same durability? With cups, is it biodegradable? All these other things that go. So somebody has to do that analysis. And if you can save money and please the environment and make the customer happy, that's a win-win-win.
Now, when you're putting together their plan or you're assessing, well, let's talk about the global scale, because now we're on a global market. I mean, and you got to expand locally, nationally, and now globally. How does that differ now? We're on a different playing field.
Well, the benefit now is because we have Zoom and other more virtual tools that we did before. Because before, 30, 40 years ago, longer than that, you actually had to get on a plane and go talk to somebody and make a friend over there. And so that's a whole culture shock, a whole new learning experience. Well, now you can do research and make virtual relationships before you have to get over there. But those relationships are very important. Just like, say, with McDonald's, if you've ever gone to another country like Europe or Paris, the McDonald's menu and even the ingredients are different than in the U.S. The U.S., we have a lot more non-food ingredients that other countries don't allow. So you just have to understand what that is and what those costs are associated, because you may not be able to use the cheapest materials in those other countries. You might have to use, natural materials or even more expensive materials. So you have to count up the cost to make sure that it's worth it. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure.
So you married, you got kids, or?
I have an adult son.
Wow. Okay.
You read all about him in my book, Cyanidation, The Refinement of My Life. It's a memoir that I wrote about the first 30-so years of my life from my earliest memories.
You embarrassed your son in that book. You embarrassed your son in that book.
Yeah.
I remember when you used to do this.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
Because we all do stupid stuff as kids. All of us done something. Some of us done it twice. So how do you look at or how do you pick a financial planner? And the reason why I asked you that, a lot of times, them having that specific knowledge about your industry, can help them better help you make financial decisions and this type of stuff. Because if you don't know the cycles in my business, you don't know how it runs and this type of stuff, a lot of times, even though it might be good financial advice, it might not be good for me. So how do we find somebody to help us with our finances?
So there's two types of finance people to help you make the money, and then finance people to help you keep the money.
Okay.
So you have to decide what help you're trying to do. Me, myself, I show you how to keep it. because you should be saving, you should be generating generational wealth. Everybody's not a risk taker. Everybody's not trying to be in the stock market. Everybody's not trying to do investments, and that's okay. There's other ways to make money and save money. But it's all about relationships. Your finance person should be focused on your goals and what you're trying to do, and not pad their commission and not pad their pocket.
Talk to us about the doc. I gotta feel good money.
There's nothing to spending what you earn because you deserve it. You just have to be realistic. Are you able to just go out to a movie or treat yourself to a nice dinner? Or do you have to go buy a $900 purse? Or do you have to go out of the country?
I am Danny Parks, and you're listening to the #1 business show with Casey Pride.
And we are back right here on the Real 1100 AM iHeartRadio, taking in all the world. It's the Rockstar KC.
And Mr. Marketology.
And we are back with Dr. Graham. We only got a few more minutes left in the show. Before we got out of here, and I think this is a very, very important point to hit, you know, talking about the reward. Because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we work so hard. And a lot of times when you just continue to work, though the numbers start to build up, you feel like, what am I doing all this for? You know what I'm saying? So tell us a little bit about how to reward ourselves as entrepreneurs, coming from a finance expert such as yourself.
Well, first you set the budget on what you want to spend, and then you determine within that budget how you want to spend it. There's various things that you could do. You could spend $100 in a weekend staying at a bed and breakfast out in the middle of nowhere and enjoy the country air and be just as refreshed as if you did something else that cost you, 3 times as much.
Okay. No, I'm with you on that.
I need something to make me feel good.
Now, is there a certain because I know we talked about, before the break, we was talking about, $900 purses and stuff, and some of them purses about 5, 6.
I know a guy downtown, Old National.
Get you any purse you want, $50. But no, is there a certain ratio or something that we should look at when it comes to, I make 100,000, but let me go buy the Lambo? You know what I'm saying? So is there a certain ratio that we need to kind of work off of? Okay, if I make this much, I can go spend this much for my reward.
It's really up to the person because you know your spending habits and you know what you want.
I like to borrow. I gotta be.
So when the money comes in, then you section it off. So the money comes in, this much goes to tithe and offering. If you go to church and you're a born again believer, this amount's going to go to savings, this amount's going to go to bills, and then what's left over, okay, this is how much I have to place this. And then you just work accordingly. Some people just go out to a nice dinner. You spend $50 on a nice restaurant and go blink your eyes at somebody and wave a little bit and you're good.
You're right.
Get you a nice dinner, get you a nice sweet afterwards.
You mess around and go to the restaurant or go to movies, you're spending almost a ball.
Not if you're going with Jeff. Trust me, it's going to be $20 for your plate. Then don't even ask for dessert. Don't ask for dessert. Man. Then you can't get but one alcoholic drink.
I'm doing that for your health.
If you don't get the alcoholic drink, then he'll let you get the dessert.
I'm doing that for your health. I'm a health conscious, Kevin.
So you go out with me, we're going to bow. Trust me. We're going to have a good time. We're going to be broke when we get finished.
So another option is you find the meal that you want and then you buy the ingredients and learn how to make it yourself at home. And it'll even taste better.
That's what I do. See? That's an old pimp move right there. You don't know nothing about that.
I don't know nothing about that.
Because you shouldn't walk out the door to spend money without having a plan.
That's a clippable.
And we'll be back tomorrow. We are.
Instagram be hating on me, bro.